Murder. He was hunched over in a corner of the house not knowing what to do. Sometimes a murder may happen tomorrow by slapping my cheek today. He will be killed and he will be the killer. Shravan said subjectively. He must find some way. He thought for a while and told his wife, I have found a solution. You can stop crying and the children will come after the game. She will be upset if she sees you crying. With that, he stepped out of the collapsed building. He walked forward through the middle of the ground, which was covered with forest. His whole wheat field. He looked up. Gold-plated ears were to be seen everywhere at this time. But last week the locusts had made a journey to the western horizon exhausted. They all rested in his wheat field for a while. By then, the wheat field had become non-wheat field. Last year there was a flood. Even then he did not get anything. That too from Raman Srinivasa, the most ruthless usurper in Vijayappuram. 48 hours have passed since the date of repayment of the loan. Only 24 hours in front of him now. That's what this walk of his is for. He climbed into the sugarcane field from where the forest was covered. They were all young twigs. There was no one there except him. His walk went into a furnace. He realized that there was a corpse buried there yesterday. There was some red clay lying there that did not touch the ground. He moved towards it. Yes, it was hidden yesterday, he whispered to himself. He took a long stick and began to dig. He was disturbed when he removed half an inch of soil. The first thing he blocked in his arms was the corpse's face. At that moment, the man was frightened, but with all his might, he pulled the corpse out of the pit. He decided to wash and clean the whole body. The corpse was still lying dead. Without opening the eyes, without moving the legs, without raising the arms, he filled the grave with a few stones and sticks instead of the corpse. Then the pit was covered with mud. He had already confirmed that it was. If he is a man, his corpse will be used. He put the corpse on his shoulder and walked forward. By then his legs were paralyzed. It started beating slowly. He put the corpse somewhere in the sugarcane field, and then slowly walked home. All the children are gone. There is sadness all over their faces. He told everyone things and dressed them up. The children and his wife started crying. He comforted everyone and went out into the darkness. He had so much petrol and a match in his hand. The foxes were howling, the buffaloes were wandering through the forest, and someone had gone hunting with the hounds. The road in front of him was stretched out. Such a journey was unusual for him. What comes to mind is another night trip along the same route 10 or 20 years ago. The journey to bring back the girl he loved. Ramu and Sadakan were with him then, but not today. By the time the last flood engulfed them, they had turned into corpses. He fell in love with Gauri and married her. Though not wealthy, her housewife had 3 meals a day, and although she was not a princess, she had a dress that did not fit snugly, and a house that was not glorious, but had no blood. By the time his thoughts went wild, he had reached his wheat field. After putting petrol and a matchbox somewhere, he returned to the sugarcane field. The corpse was waiting for him among the sugarcane herd. Without opening your eyes, without moving your legs, without raising your arms, he carried the corpse on his shoulders and walked forward. It was to a stream that most had never visited. It was flowing without making much noise. Shravan felt that the moon and the stars were enjoying their own beauty in that stream. Shravan lowered the corpse into the stream. It began to rub against the dirt that clung to its body. On the face, legs, hands, the place where the wheat field overlooks was chosen to do exactly that. There is no other way to kill the dead. There is no other way for him. He has heard from somewhere before that if a farmer commits suicide, his family will get Rs 1 lakh in compensation from the government. When people see it tomorrow, it needs some sign to make sure it is itself. For that, he put the iron bracelet on his right hand in the right hand of the corpse. It was as if the petrol man had stolen the corpse. Better a poor horse than no horse at all. He took a match and threw it into the coffin. Suddenly the corpse began to burn. He used to pour petrol on the face of the corpse from time to time when he was sure the body was ashes. He walked back. He had arranged the bottle and matchbox he had brought with him so that no one would suspect him from a short distance away. He did not forget to make marks on the way to the corpse from where they were both. The rooster crowed, the sky turned blue, the sun rose in the sky. People gathered in Shravan's wheat field. The police came. The locals believed that Shravan had committed suicide. They were constantly crying and screaming. Only until the collector arrives. The collector comforted them and paid them 50,000 rupees in compensation. She woke up in the middle of the night to a knock on the door. His beloved in front when opened. She was waiting for him too. Something was rolling in their eyes. Did the locals believe I was dead? Shravan asked his wife. Believe me, how much compensation did you get? 50,000 but. What? Raman the boss came and took it, but he beat us and went away for a long time. Shravan's eyes filled and his legs became tired. Children, there was something stuck in his throat. He lay down. His stomach was full without eating or drinking anything. Gauri came close to him. He wanted her to do something, but he dared not do anything. He closed his eyes and lay down. He woke up late at night. He slowly lifted his face and kissed one of his mistress' foreheads, and then walked out. The whole country was asleep. Only the moon in the sky was looking at him. He walked a little and came in front of a tree. She stood up. The whole delusion of not being able to see Shravan up close then hit her face. A cloud was waiting to clear. She walked slowly out of the house. Her heart began to beat tenfold faster. She ran and overtook the onlookers and came to the front. Then her eyes were more open than Shravan's.